So I've made a fair few versions of my hairy neon boy puppet, most of which have glass eyes. But to this point, I haven't used the glass for its inherent light refractive properties, and I think that'd be a fun thing to do. I found this piece of patterned envelope, and I'm going to use it to demonstrate something. So check out this effect here. Isn't this nice? This works so well because the pattern is set back from the back of the lens there. If I push it forward so it's touching the lens, you get a little bit of that, but nowhere near as much. So I'm thinking of an approach where I have maybe some UV reflective pattern, and a pattern is important because you want to be able to have individual points of reference, otherwise the distortion would be invisible, and just moving it a little way back from the lens. That could be really cool. This actually reminds me a little bit of horsefly eyes and deer flies specifically, because they have these really interesting psychedelic patterns, but no discernible pupil necessarily. And that's important because if you have a pupil in puppetry, you do expect the thing to move. And I don't really want to do that. I'm getting the eye expression out of the eyebrows, and anything above that will become pretty hard to control and probably unnecessary. That does remind me though, I do have to put the eyebrows on this new one. I'm just going to take the eyebrows from the old one, I think, because he's outdated now. There we go, look at that. This might be one of my best mechanisms, honestly. It's so simple, so effective. Elegoo sent me their Centuri Carbon 3D printer fairly recently. It's a very capable printer, but in this instance I'm just printing something quite simple, these bowl-like dish shapes that I could set behind the eye, and due to the depth of the shape, I could add some patterns and we should get some interesting refractions. The first thing I tried wasn't really a pattern at all. I blended 3 colors in a smooth enough gradient. These are acrylic neon paints, by the way. And these all glow under UV light, and the effect is when he angles the head down, you get a certain color, and when he angles it up, you get a second one, and then the blue in the middle. I tried a few versions of this concept, but I think because there was not really a hard-edged pattern, it didn't do too much in conveying the distortion, so I wanted to try something a bit different. This next approach was really interesting. I added a couple of different colors in the neon paint and kept them quite well separated until the point that I wanted to mix them. And then when I did, I added quite deliberate spirals, mixing the paint in a manner that kept the colors somewhat separate, but blended to the degree that you get these psychedelic patterns. I tried a bunch of versions of this technique. In each instance, I kept the base color blue in order to contrast nicely with the orange surroundings of the puppet. And the results were really, really beautiful. Despite this, after they dried, I just got the sense that they wouldn't work. And I think it's because the puppet's colors are quite hard in terms of the lines between them. They're quite well disambiguated. So these kind of swirly, nebulous shapes weren't really going to fit. Next, I tried something really simple comparatively. You can see what I'm doing, it doesn't need explaining. And it just worked, actually. The colors and their outlines are really clear, and this makes the distortion really distinct. Sometimes the simpler approaches work really, really well, and this is a very clear instance of that. I gave this approach a second attempt because I felt like I could do it neater, and also I used only blue because the pink color actually becomes orange under the yellow filter that's required to shoot UV stuff proficiently, and therefore didn't contrast nicely with the orange color of the puppet. So this is the final result. I think it looks really, really good. This video was just focused on the face and the eyes specifically of this puppet, but he's had a fairly supreme body-wide glow-up with new mechanisms and incredible new techniques to get something really quite special. So in the next video, I'm going to showcase him in his entirety. There's a lot more behind the scenes stuff like this on my Patreon. I recently released a nearly half-hour series that features some of my creations from over the years, some that you may not have seen, some that you will have, but in a fair bit more detail. So head over to my Patreon, and a donation of any amount will enable you access to these videos. Thank you very much in advance, and I'll see you in the next one.